Look at this. As you can see, we have my boy Yura and then me. I mean, that's the pro team right there. That is the pro team right there. So yeah, just going to qualifying, and I'm just looking through the weather conditions for the qualifying feature and sprint race, and as you can see on the feature race it's actually going to be raining near the end, so yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting. But dry for qualifying and dry for sprint race, I guess. So yeah, we will load my dry setup and see if I can maybe set a good lap. I am going to go out on mediums first, just for the fact that I want to have a bit of a try and experience, because I haven't done much practice for this one, not gonna lie. And you'll see a bit later that I completely, that I don't have much practice because I completely mess up the strategy in the sprint race and stuff. But yeah, we'll just go out on mediums and try and set a good first lap. So this is actually my second lap. As you can see, that's my first lap time, but it was a bit dodgy. It wasn't great, honestly. So I decided to just stay out and try again. And yeah, I actually think this lap was pretty decent for medium tyres. As you can see, you'll see my teammate Yura, who was in the lobby as well from the intro you saw there. He actually beats me with a broken front wing on the exact same compound, so it wasn't ideal that, but as you see I'm already up massively. Through here I struggled quite a bit throughout this event and this league event, because it was just so difficult to slow the car down in Baku with F2 cars. It's just so difficult, you know, it understeers like hell. And you haven't even seen the rain yet. You have not even seen the rain yet. Just wait till it gets rainy. Down here is another corner where I struggle a bit, but it's mainly in the wet, so we'll just get to that when we get there. But through here, it was alright. It wasn't too bad. Tap the barrier again, which isn't ideal, but I feel like that was just gaining me more speed, if anything, because it was just using that as an acceleration point. Come around here, a bit wide there, which wasn't ideal, but around here I think it was perfect. I caught the car just in time before it slid, and then I just kept pushing on and managed to fly through here. This is another part that me and Yura struggled with through down here, where we had to come down here and brake all of a sudden, going from a really high speed to a really low speed, and a few times we damaged our front wing there. Again, mainly the wet, but we'll get to that in a bit. But coming up to the final, well, little just flat out two corners, and you just gotta go flat out here. Luckily, when you have new tyres, you can do that. If you have a bit worn tyres, we found you cannot. You have to lift off just a bit. But now, just up to the straight, we flip the DRS open now, and then just run to the line, and that puts me in P3 at the moment. I actually forgot for a second there, but yeah, that's my first lap time done, and now we'll just go back into the pits now and try for the super softs. So now for my final hot lap attempt on the super softs, obviously, because there is super softs in F2, and yeah, this lap again, it wasn't the best. It could have been better. I had a few problems setting a hot lap on the super softs because I went out for an out lap and then tried to do a hot lap, damaged my front wing, had to come back in, then go out and do another hot lap, and now this lap. So yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to set a lap, as you saw. I hit the barrier back there again, but through here I managed to finally nail this corner pretty nicely, much better than what I have been doing in the little tiny bit of practice I did, and also in my mediums time. I seem to hit less barriers than what I did with my mediums lap time, which is good. I actually go purple here, and I was kind of getting a bit excited, because I was just like, how am I going purple when these super softs are a bit worn, a bit more worner than everyone else's, if that's a word. And obviously it's still not the best of laps, let's be honest, but I was still going purple. I was getting a bit happy. I was like, let's go, maybe I could have a chance to get in pole. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that turns out. So coming around just through the castle chicane, which took it pretty nicely actually, really good speed through there. Now up on this little mini high speed corner and slash straight, I guess you can count as, and then down through here again. I broke a lot later this time, but luckily the grip on the supers was still pretty decent and managed to keep me out the barrier, and I actually go purple once again here, which I was like, oh, okay, there's something up here, there's something up here. I was like, no way am I going to possibly take pole, or at least provisional pole for the time being. But through here, again, flat out, I managed to do it because my tyres were still fairly decent. They weren't the best, obviously, but they still weren't really bad. And then flying down on the straight, flip the DRS open now, and just run down to the straight, and that is where we go P4. So yeah, it was we lost it in the final sector sadly, but that's not bad. P4 at the moment, and we'll just have to hope that no one beats our lap really at the moment now. Here is the starting grid for the feature race then. Sadly we did get beaten by a few people who are still yet to set super soft laps, but that was obvious because our tyres were a bit more worn than everyone else's. My teammate went P5, Euro, so GG to him. But P7, yeah, let's just see how it goes and jump into the feature race then. One of my favourite tracks, Baku is, so let's see how we do in the race then. So it is lights out and away we go here for, well, hopefully not a chaotic race, but obviously it's going to rain at the end of this feature race. But into turn 1, it looked fairly clean. It wasn't too bad. Well, into turn 1 it wasn't, but turn 2 it was a bit more chaotic because this started happening. I hit the back of my teammate just a little bit, people went into the barriers a bit, someone spun there, but luckily I managed to still stay in P7 where I started, so yeah, it's not bad. But we're going to see if we can maybe try and get past my teammate, maybe this other guy here, as we tried a risky move down inside of both of them for a double overtake maybe, and I managed to make the move for my teammate who got pushed out wide a bit there, and around the outside now of this other guy who I do manage to just get around, who I did tap just a little bit, but there's nothing I could have done there. I left him enough space, but he had plenty of space there to be fair, so it was just up to him to avoid it. But yeah, up to P5 right now, so that's a pretty decent lap 1, but we can't give up too quickly because obviously it's a 15 lap race, and we don't want to just destroy our chances at getting a good result yet. We may be able to maybe pull something out the bag, but right now let's just concentrate on the race and see if we can keep up as we nearly slide out that corner and completely lose it. So yeah, at the moment it's Campos Racing 5-6, so let's just keep pushing on and see if we can maybe make it a better result. We're just skipping along to the end of lap 1, coming on to lap 2 now. So into turn 1, I sadly went really wide here, messed up completely, and just to make matters worse, I lose the back end a bit, which allows my teammate to just go right down inside of me, and even makes a pass on me before turn 2. So that's it's not ideal, but we won't give up yet. We will keep pushing on and try and get him back. Obviously he's just up the road, so he's not miles and miles away, he's just right in front of me, and when DRS enables obviously I will have a better chance, but we'll keep commentating over right now as he nearly messes up there and I only have a chance. I was thinking about going around the outside, but I thought I'd better not. Then I try and think about going down the inside, and I thought, you know what, we have plenty of time, I don't want to wreck my race straight away, because obviously I'm still kind of new to the F2 cars series and don't really know how it completely works, and like I said, you'll see what I mean in a bit in the sprint race by that. And same with Euro, my teammate, he literally he doesn't really know anything. This is his first race, and I get a warning there for corner cutting, and it's so easy to corner cut through there, not gonna lie, so you need to watch out a bit there. But coming up here then, we see this, which we're really happy with, because that promotes us up to a 3-4, for him at the moment 3, and for me a 4. So let's try and maybe get that podium off my teammate, because even though he did get past me and is looking a bit faster than me at the moment, doesn't mean to say I can't have a chance at him. As you can see, I keep the tab in the corner on the tyre wear, just because it kind of helps me out to see, because you don't need to worry about ERS since that's not a thing on F2 cars. And the fuel, everyone has the exact same, you can't change the engine mix to rich or standard or lean, it stays the same. And we hit the barrier just a bit there, which isn't ideal, but obviously now we will get some slipstream, so we will try and slipstream my teammate down the straight here, which we will, and I go to the inside, obviously don't want to go to the outside. The slipstream's OP in these cars, it's so easy, got past him way before turn 1, and into turn 1 I made the move, and that was me up to P3 then. And luckily this time I don't mess up, but he did say about, you might hear in the background, that he has DRS for the next straight, until he comes out the corner, slides a bit and loses a massive amount of time. So yeah, I think I've kept this P3 for just a bit or longer yet. I just want to keep this pine, and I'm going to let you listen to the Vor game sound footage, because you can still hear you in the background, because something funny happens here. So yeah, I'll just let you listen in and enjoy his reaction to this.
Okay. No! Oh no. Oh no! This is literally my worst nightmare.
Okay, the safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive. Check
Oh
your
no!
MFD for a
Yeah, I was stuck in the castle section.
So yeah, as you could tell there, Yuva got stuck in the castle section as he smashed into the barrier, and he blocked up a few cars and caused a safety car. So this is interesting now, because I was thinking, well, I could pit and I can go into mediums till the end, or I could stay out a bit longer because these tyres aren't exactly dead. And I didn't really know what to do here because I've never been in this situation for F2 cars, because you only get one set of super softs and one set of medium compound tyres each race. And I see the top two go in and I'm like, right, you know what, screw it, we'll go in as well. So I pit in as well, and it looks like I made the right call because everyone else pitted as well, except one other person who didn't pit, and he actually jumped me, but that's okay because I pitted anyway and just changed my tyres over, and now I can just go to the end obviously now. So safety car restart then. So it looks like they all pound away now, as I had a terrible start there, when if it wasn't illegal to pass them before the start finish line, I would have been overtaken by now, but luckily it's illegal, so he had to give the position back. But into turn one, we managed to keep P4 at the moment. Obviously, like I said, some guy jumped me. I slide out of there, which wasn't ideal. Then coming towards here, I suddenly get this. Yes, and you obviously can't hear my proper reaction, my uneditable reaction, but I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming. I was like, what was that guy doing? But now I'm doing a voiceover, obviously I can explain the situation. So what happened was the guy behind me got tapped by the guy behind him, and then he went into the back of me and pushed me in the barrier. So it was basically like a dominoes effect, basically. And I destroyed my front wing. Sadly, that was pretty much my race over. Really, I couldn't really do anything else. But I thought, you know what, I'll still carry on. I did come into the pits and put on my qualifying mediums, because you still can use them apparently. So yeah, but it was just kind of a shame that happened, but I'll just keep pushing on. Obviously we got rain coming at the end, so it's not all over yet, so I may still have a chance to push something out of the bag or push some sort of result in, but we'll just keep pushing on then after our pits and see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm catching them. Someone left. Oh, the guy in front of me left.
The rain is a few laps out yet, but it is coming.
So as you can clearly see now, it has started to rain, and that's just me trying to ask Jeff what the weather conditions are like and weather report is like, and also the driver in front of me, I wanted to know about that as well, because I didn't know if he had penalties or not, because obviously I do now. I also got another 3-second penalty just a minute ago for cutting that corner that I said down here. That's I struggle with, that I said in qualifying. But obviously we get past this guy now because he's been disconnected, and this guy as well because he went completely wide. But then I am stupid and brake super late and aquaplane straight into the barrier. And yeah, that's more damage just to sum up my race. And I thought, you know what, there's no point of pitting now because we're on lap 14 out of 15, and that happened. So yeah, everyone was crashing at this point. Everyone had problems. It's F2 cars in the wet. Let's be honest. What did you expect? Well, you can't expect anything better. So if you think Canada IRL in the wet conditions but not quite wet enough was bad, then this is something completely different, because I was also on a dry setup on this. But I kept pushing on anyway, and I will continue commentating until the final lap is over now, until I finish the race basically, because I want to try and keep this in, because it shows the skill that you need to really do this. Because you see, again, I go wide. There's just no possible way to completely succeed these conditions, especially in these medium tyres that are worn off like hell. But I still reckon that starting on the super softs and then going to the mediums were better, because you could have pitted for the safety car then. But yeah, it saved you a bit of time, but I don't know, because I feel like this would be better for super soft conditions, these ones. But I thought, you know what, I'll keep going anyway with my damaged front wing on the final lap. I'm in P7 at the moment, so that would mean I start P2. But I go massively wide there, massively wide, again because it's just so difficult to control this car. And then I see a guy coming up here on the mini map, as you can see, and I feel like I have to just let him through, or else I might crash him off. But then I realised it was the guy who disconnected, so I'm an idiot and just let him through. Now he does have a 10-second time penalty, whilst I only have 7 seconds, so I will get ahead of him anyway, but I want to try and do it on track. So I got to try and get this guy quickly, or at least get closer to him, because at the moment he is a big enough gap where I just will finish behind him, which isn't ideal, because, well, it wouldn't be too bad, I guess, because then I'll be starting pole for the next race, but he's disconnected, so either way I'd be starting there. So I need to try and get past him, really, so I can get more points in this race, and then start pole either way for next race in the sprint. But yeah, I've got to be very careful, as you can see. I'm really tiptoeing around this track right now with these tyres in these conditions, because it's just so hard. And again, I nearly go wide there, but luckily slowed down enough. As you see, I'm going through here in first gear, just because that's the speed you have to go around there just to get around there nicely. And through here, finally, for once, I actually realised I have to brake a lot earlier, and made it around successfully, quite nicely actually. Only if I did that the lap before, I would have been ahead of the other guy as well. But yeah, I managed to get around there successfully. Now through the castle chicane, hopefully not do a Euro. We don't, but we nearly do. We nearly do. That would have been tragic. But yeah, Euro actually also finishes P4 in this race, in the feature race. So that was really well for him. Really good job for him. As I'm only going to get P7 at the moment by the looks of it, if I just keep on track. And yeah, through here, obviously, this is another part I struggle with. I thought, oh damn, I'm going to the barrier here, but luckily I didn't in the wet, which I'm pretty happy with. But yeah, Jackson wins this one, and that means he will be starting, well, not last, but 8th, I think it is, in the sprint race. So yeah, he'll have to try and make up his way through the grid. But I'm going to just got 2 more corners to go. Let's see if I can just survive. Look at that, I back off massively down into 4th gear, when usually I'm going through then 6th flat out. I still hit the barrier, even though I backed off that much in 4th gear. But now it's just a straight, down to the straight then. And we will finish in a pretty decent P7 for what happened in this race. I think that's pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. As we smashed into the guy in front of me as well, but P7 it is. I didn't realise I was actually going to finish P7. I thought I was going to finish P8 because of the guy behind me and my penalties. I didn't realise he had penalties, but he did. But yeah, that's the feature race all done with. So here's where my inexperience of racing F2 and the whole layout of it kicks in, because I actually started on super softs and didn't realise this. I actually I just went along with what Jeff put me on and what tyres the team put me on at the beginning. And obviously this is a sprint race, you're not meant to pit, and there's no way super softs can last 11 laps, so sadly I will have to pit during this race whilst everyone else can go straight to the end. So I was kind of annoyed about this, but at least I'll be quicker at the beginning. Funny enough, I still don't get fastest lap even though I'm on the better tyres. But that's because these tyres are actually my qualifying tyres. So yeah, that's annoying. So these dead super softs, well, they're still better than some other people's mediums, I guess. But it's still not ideal. I was still really annoyed with it, and I was just like, for God's sake, man, what have I done? But it just shows inexperience. It happens sometimes. But I know for next time, which is Monaco, which is my favourite track on the calendar, even better than Baku. Like I said last time, I really like Baku. It's one of my favourite tracks, but Monaco is my favourite track. So yeah, Baku sadly didn't go exactly to plan for me. Bad strategy, getting knocked off, crashing into barriers in the wet conditions. But Monaco, hopefully I'll do better. I'll practice a lot more as well and learn the strategy and the tyre compounds and stuff, because you know, this kind of sums up what happens if you don't learn it and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just kind of annoying. We had a bit of a gap, but then obviously my tyres died quickly. They die within a lap really, these super softs, and plus they were qualifying ones, so they've already started off dead anyway. So I was just going around really with old softs, trying to keep time on the guys behind me and keep them behind me really until I come in pit, which I think was around lap 4, so I will just skip along to there.
I was close to overtake. Oh wow.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, I have to.
So yeah, not much really happened since when I pitted all the way up to lap 7, except here where I start catching this guy. This guy has quite a bit of front wing damage, and as you see, obviously I don't. So and I'm on the better tyres because I had to pit, so my tyres are a lot more cleaner and newer and performing better. So yeah, this guy was struggling a lot with his damage front wing and the old tyres, and then completely nearly lose it here. And I was thinking about diving down the inside here, but I thought a better way, and then I thought, you know what, screw it, let's try and go for it, because he goes massively wide here. I think, well, I'll go around the outside, and I was hoping this guy was going to back off, but he actually didn't, and that causes us to both go into the barrier here. I get a bit of front wing damage, which isn't ideal, and obviously that wasn't one of the cleanest overtakes I've done ever in a racing game, or F1 game, which is kind of annoying, but it promoted me up to P6, so I was pretty happy with that. So I'll just keep pushing on now. And next is my teammate Yura. Obviously, he has a tiny bit of front wing damage, basically the same amount as me. But obviously his tyres are a lot more dead than mine because he's been on them since lap 1, and they were the same medium tyres that he used in qualifying, I'm pretty sure, because that's how it works. And then yeah, so obviously I just had to keep pushing on and see if I can catch up with him and see if I can maybe snatch P5 off him. And this time obviously I don't have penalties because I used him up in the feature race, so at least I don't have that dragging me down again. Now I'm a lot closer to my teammate. As you can see, he's so close as he messes up just a little bit there. You may have been able to hear him in the background just screaming because he didn't want to destroy his front wing even more than what it already has. And yeah, obviously now we will have DRS because we are within the DRS zone. As we come around these corners here, he had to back off a bit because obviously, like I said, his tyres have died a lot more, and you can't get around those two corners going flat with dead tyres, especially when they're mediums, and mine are still quite good, so I managed to get around the flat but still tether the bar a little bit. But as we slipstream, have DRS open, look at the DRS zone and the speed of the slipstream as we tap him just a little bit, but we go for the outside. I don't really know what I was trying there, but then I come through the cutback and managed to make the move stick perfectly on him. And again, yes, he will have DRS coming out of here, and he could try and maybe get me, but he slides out of the corner again and loses all that time, so I managed to gap him immediately, and yeah, managed to take P5 off him really nicely. And obviously now I've got the better tyres and we have the same damage of the front wing, so now all I really need to do is just bring the car home in P5, and yeah, that'll be a solid result, I think, for what's happened in this race. So there we go then, that is both the feature and sprint race, and we finished P5 in the sprint race. At least we did better in the sprint race than what we did in the feature race. It was a bit better, even though we had to pit, we still finished P5, which was still, well, finished last time, so that's still pretty decent in my opinion. But yeah, P5 and P6 for me and my teammate Yura, and then obviously P4 and P7 in the feature race. So yeah, let's just skip to where we get the overall results and see where we both finished overall. So yeah, overall, throughout the whole weekend or event, we finished P7 and Yura finishes P5. So yeah, I think it was a good race still for what happened to me in this races and the qualifying session. I think we did well and we got the maximum points I could really get. But yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.